Today we're heading towards Casa Corazon, Lemery, Batangas, and we're going to do some motorcycle museum tour. This video is going to be long, so see you there and bear with us. I have to get some lunch first before heading towards Casa Corazon. And I think there's an interesting place here. There's a nice place here called Salay Señorita. And let's try out their Lomi Batangas. I haven't tried Salay Señorita before, and this is going to be my first time. Let's move to a proper slot, and probably I'm going to take a table where I can see my motorbike. Salay Señorita.
Morning. Open yung museum. Magkano po? 250.
Right here in the kitchen, there is a BMW R6, I guess, used by the Russian police. There is a AK-47 mount somewhere, but I cannot find it. Yep, this bike is very much it for a police motorcycle, especially in Russia. Now let's move the bike to the parking lot. I just paid the ticket. It's 250 pesos for a day tour. And this place is not only a motorcycle museum. Casa Corazon is a resort with a motorcycle museum. It's a resort and a hotel with about four to five, I guess, swimming pools and some cottages. There's also a restaurant back there where I came from. But right now, our focus will be the motorcycle museum. And yep, right here are the caretakers. They will going to open the lights, turn on the fans for me, since I'm the only guest here for this weekend. And yep, interesting enough, weekend is not crowded, fortunately, and that's a good thing because I can actually walk around without too much people, without too much kids. Actually, I think kids aren't allowed inside the motorcycle museum as they might mess up a lot of things, a lot of delicate artifacts right here.
Mm.
So now, I guess this is it. Let's start the tour. Manong, let's go. Let's start here on the first galleries of bikes, basically gallery of bikes. So some collections of mopeds, monkeys, mini trails, Honda Cubs, so many mini trails. So this first gallery actually is a bicycle gallery with some, what do you call that, exotic brands of scooters, which aren't actually Japanese brands. Probably they are German or even Chinese, but mostly these are Hondas. Japanese, and some ATVs, mini ATVs for the kids. Yep. Some helmets here are for the kids, and some folding bicycles right here, and some common bicycles, not really ordinary, but probably most expensive ordinary bicycles around Japan are all exhibited here in the first gallery or first showroom of this museum. As you can see, most of it are bicycles and some Shoei helmet. Well, Shoei has been around since time immemorial, used by a lot of motorcyclists and bikers around in different categories: adventure, street. What else? Almost all types of riding Shoei helmets. They can offer a lot of different products for all types of riding. That's what I'm saying. And right here, Honda Giorno. These are Honda Giornos used to compete with Italian Vespa. Yep. So the first gallery is exhibiting mostly small bikes and scooters to begin with. So I think it was arranged that way so that the guests can actually start with small bikes, and then now as we move on to the next showroom or the next gallery, we have probably, let me think it this way, as we walk towards the entrance are mini trails. Yep, Honda mini trails. I guess Honda mini trails have been around for some time, and yep, kids from around the world, they enjoy their mini trails. I used to have my own one back then, and yeah, I don't know where it went, but anyway, this museum, what, uh, brought some good memories on the mini trail. And right here, I guess this one looks like a Daytona 350. If you Google Daytona 350, it's a bobber from Poland, but it's a 350cc motorcycle, and some interesting mini sport bikes on this area, and then more mini trails on this gallery. And I guess this is the only gallery of mini trails that you can find in the Philippines, right here at Casa Corazon, Lemery, Batangas. And also, yep, some oil-cooled mini bikes, not mini trail, but I don't think they can be called scooters because they look like the smaller versions of the real bikes. Let's go to the next building and check out some nice BMW collection. I said, yep, BMW collections. All right. To be honest, this is a nice piece of property, and right over there is a white pillar where a huge BMW sign used to be, and I don't know what happened. Probably it was destroyed by a monsoon rain or a strong typhoon. But anyway, let's go and check out what's inside. First, there is a stand-up and some, yes, nice collection of BMW motorcycles from different era or different period of time since the first, I guess, no, since the Second World War. So this one is a Zandup, a sister company of BMW. So they Zandup, uh, before BMW starts making motorcycle, it used to be Zandup. And this red one is a nice example of a BMW equipped with a boxer engine. And right here are World War II collections. This one is my favorite, R75. The R75 is basically a trike with a machine gun mounted on it. And right here, as you can see, it is a real gun. It's a real weapon that has been disarmed or I don't know what's the word for it. They already removed the bolt. They already removed the firing pin, and so forth, in order for this gun not to be used for anything else aside from display. And right here is also another collection of that's not an R75. That's something else. I can't remember. But yep, if you can imagine when Nazi Germany was invading Poland back in 1938 and they deployed hundred thousands of that. Imagine the sound of R-75 thundering towards the small towns of Poland along the way. Yep, some other World War II memorabilia on that display. And right here is, of course, it's not a T2 bike. Probably it can be categorized as a T2 bike. The BMW GS, an adventure bike. Yep, it's an adventure bike with a boxer engine. It's a different thing from the other variant of the BMW adventure bike used by the Highway Patrol Group. And right in the middle are the interesting collections of the 1930s BMW, the R series. It's still the R series, but this one are dated back about 1938, 1940s, I guess, and still in pristine condition, probably not running anymore. But look at the condition of these bikes. They are still shiny. Probably if given some work, these bikes are still going to run. Yeah, how cool is that? Can you see the profile, the frame? The frame is basically a hardtail, an example of a hardtail, and right here are the examples of the boxer engine. The boxer engine basically are opposed type engines. That the reason they're called boxer engine probably is you have two pistons boxing together, like pair of boxers. They're punching together in the opposite in an opposite direction. The same the same engines are used in Volkswagen Beetle way back then the World War II, 1960s, 1950s, and up to the 1980s. They are using the Boxer engine for whatever reason. But the one thing is interesting about the Boxer engine is when you actually start a BMW motorcycle, for instance, it will there's a certain vibration side that goes sideways instead of a vibration that goes up and down. That is typical with the Japanese motorcycles. And right here is an interesting example of a sidecar that looks like a coffin, but I don't think it's used for that purpose. And yep, you don't see white motorcycle much outside, I guess. And yeah, three of it, because three of those are inside this museum, and only Casa Corazon Motorcycle Museum got an almost complete collection of vintage BMW motorcycles here in the Philippines. I don't think other other showrooms or other museums have the same collection as this one. So, yep, it's a nice place to visit and drop by if you are actually a motorcycle enthusiast. If you haven't been here, please include it in your bucket list to be here in this museum. Although, yep, some of the some of the displays here are really old, but yep, it's quite entertaining and educational at the same time. And being in a quiet place like a province, not in a city or not in the capital, yeah, it gives you a relaxing feeling while looking or observing the nice bikes that used to zoom around Germany during their time. And right here as well are the display of tools used for servicing these bikes. Interesting because these tools are still being used today, even though if your motorcycle is not a BMW. And right here is another example of an R series with a complete fairing, original fairing actually. And another rare example or of this color category, I guess this one is called the orange glaze paint or the orange glaze finish. And yes, only one in the Philippines. And the last one is the only BMW superbike ever made. And then after that, BMW didn't produce any more superbikes, only this one. So, yep, this museum is the only museum with a BMW superbike on display and not for sale. And right here, I guess, is the last. This one is really not interesting for my as far as my visit is concerned, but it's cute, and I think it's called the BMW Beta. So now we move to the next or next and last display around here, where all the exotic cars, the owner's car collection is displayed, or rather, are displayed. We move to that gallery while watching these bikes from the outside, or yeah, looking at these bikes from the outside. So here we go. Let's move on to the last gallery of this motorcycle museum and motorcycle and car museum. So, yep, here we are. One of the original wheelless Jeep from World War II. It's original. Everything is original here. And some millennials or Gen Z will wonder why there's a third pedal right here and what it is used for. And there's so many shifting sticks, like there are around five. Probably this is the first five-speed vehicle that was ever built. I'm just being sarcastic. Yeah, one, maybe the tallest, the longest one is a first gear, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth. And right here are collections of diecast motorcycles or model motorcycle models, diecast models of real motorcycles, and some diecast models of representation of real cars. I used to have collections myself, and I think it's in a box somewhere. And there goes the Alfa Romeo. It's no longer in pristine condition, just being polished. But look at those tires, they're already busted. And this white Nissan that looks like a car that came out from an anime. And of course, who will not recognize an Austin Mini Cooper from your favorite, no, not really favorite, but probably one of the most popular TV series, Mr. Bean. And right next here is the Chevrolet Corvette. I don't know which year. I can't remember which year anymore. And this Mercedes R129, R126, and of course the Opel GT, which is always being mistaken as an Opel Manta. But basically, this is an Opel GT and every boy's dream car during the 70s or the 80s. Well, so much for cars and car museum. Let's go back outside and yep, I guess this is most of it. This is most of the displays around Casa Corazon. And yep, this is nice. That concludes our motorcycle museum tour here at Casa Corazon, Lemery, Batangas. It's quite educational, basically. And as we go outside, move towards the exit, there's an interesting piece of electronic here. It's a payphone from a Japanese telco, Nippon NTT. Oh, did I say it right? Nippon Telephone and Telegram.